Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Today's guest from Mystery Science Theater 3000. I'm talking the original. Riff Tracks, Cinematic Titanic. You know all these things. Maria Bamford's Lady Dynamite. Mary Jo Pehl. Hello, Mary Jo.
Hi, y'all. How are you?
Mary, I'm Mary Jo. I'm good. And It's good to see you. I think you're very, very funny. You're very, very talented. And I want to know everything that's doing. Go.
Oh, wow. Well, where do I start? Let me do it
slowly.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that you pushed back on it because I think that can go completely wrong. Where Keith goes, "Hey, I prepped for this interview, but why don't we let you decide where it goes? You go first."
Right, and it's like I've had a million job interviews over the course of my life, and when they say, "Tell me a little about yourself," it's like you got to rein me in because I don't know what you want to hear. But anyway, Keith, sorry. Yes, I'll let you continue.
No, of course, I was being ridiculous. But yes, those job interviews. I won't steal from you too much. I'll be on time. What am I going to tell you?
Right. I won't steal from you.
Speaking of jobs, all right, let me jump to this real quick because this story is interesting to me. How old were you when you worked at a 7-Eleven that got robbed?
I was 17.
Oh, at 17 was my peak Slurpee coming in. I had it every single day large. I don't think we have the same 7-Eleven experience because I was coming in like an asshole, drinking too much soda, and you were working.
Yeah, I was working. Yeah. I had a summer job there and at a nursing home, 2 full-time jobs. I could do that kind of thing.
Well, I worked at a nursing home for 1 week and 1 day. And the week training, I was killer at it, no pun. But that 1 day where you really gotta show up and wipe assholes and shave chins.
1 day,
Mary Jo, that is hard work. I left like a minute before the end of my shift. I'm like, who cares? Don't pay me for the day. I'm out of here.
Right. No,
as a nurse's assistant, of course,
Yeah. I was like, I'm sure it was a nursing assistant too. It was pretty low on the rung, but I was trying to save money for college. And I was so, that Midwestern work ethic where it's like, no, you just go do it. No matter how unhappy you are, you don't quit jobs. Right. And I'm so much different now. I'm so much more enlightened now.
I also thought I'm going to kill people. I'm like, I shouldn't work. It's almost, not only is it overwhelming to me, I don't think it's an excuse that I'm doing them a favor.
I know. And also, but it doesn't help that you call it enlightening that Keith quit in the first day. He's like, I need a job, but not this one.
Not this job. But you're right. It's like, what am I doing? I was so clueless and I wasn't very empathetic at that point in my life. I was just there to, change the sheets. And
me too. I didn't know dying people. My mom is in assisted living now, can't talk from dementia. I'm sure I would be a different employee now. But back then I'm like, the Alzheimer's, you're yelling at me when we just had a big conversation at lunch. It's confusing. It's overwhelming. And I'm 18 at the most.
Yeah, totally. Right.
Did you feel the same way or were you heartbroken by some of the things? Like to me, it's just that they're so demanding. I wasn't even heartbroken.
Yeah, no, I think I'm weighing my words because I don't want to sound hard-hearted, but I'm just going to be candid. And that is, I was pretty clueless. It was all about getting to work, acquitting myself of the duties, and then going to hang out with my friends. So what's the word? I'm unempathetic. I was never overtly cruel to people, but not especially sensitive either. I just wanted to deliver the needs, if you will.
I was so uncruel. I tried to do the guests, if you will. Some people thought they were going to go back to their home at any time. But I would be on their side as opposed to the nurses. So, for example, if I had to shower you and the water is terrifying you because either you have some kind of water trauma and no one told me about it, or you simply don't want to get wet because you weren't playing football. What were you doing? Nothing. I'd say, okay, I'm not going to shower you. But I got to get the tub wet. And they go, okay. Then I turn on the water. Oh my God. I'm like, no, you're not listening.
Right.
And the tub, when I wash you, I put you in a chair, the chair, up and over into the tub. The chair weighs you. I couldn't even get her in, this one specific person I'm thinking of. I couldn't even get her in the chair. So I made up her weight. Then they go, hey, what was the weight on that again? I go, oh, what do you have? What I write down? They're like, just weigh again. Oh
yeah. No, but
I want to know what Keith, what did you guess as the weight?
I couldn't even guess at my guess. I have no idea what a person weighs.
Like 75 pounds.
I wouldn't even know.
I don't know. A pot roast. I don't know.
Right.
Because a pot roast. Because he doesn't know how to guess ages either. So it's a good thing they didn't ask him. So he sees kids age range like 8 to 16. He'll be like, I get that the 16-year-old might be older, but he can guess 12. He's like, I don't know ages. They were children. Turns out they were 4. You know what I mean? It's like there's not a gauge there.
I'm like, I'm
really
6'2". I'm 6'2". A woman has to be less than me, even though she doesn't do anything.
Like your point of reference is you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I know.
Okay.
Like, well, you can't be a man.
And this is what happens because we're not letting anybody ask us how much we weigh. Oh my God. In fact, I just filled out something for my health insurance for like a doctor I want to see. And this is the first time on a form they asked me how much I weigh. And I'm like, no, you can't just make it mandatory by putting a star there. I wrote 00 and hit next. And it took, go fuck yourself.
Right. Okay. Thank you. What was the relevance? Can you tell me more about the relevance of the weight to that?
I did not find it to be relevant because it was a mental health thing that I was reaching out to. And they were like, how much do you weigh? And I was like, none of your fucking business. And then when we get together, you can figure out why I'm mentally uncomfortable with this being your business.
Right. Thank you so much. Because the other thing I have an issue. Are we going far afield here? Or can we just
come back? Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that angers me is that BMI is used as the essential gauge for how healthy you are. And on paper, my BMI is, extravagant, if you will. But
I like that word. Extravagant.
There's no room for me to indicate, I bike 50 miles a week, at least. I walk a couple of miles every day. I swim. They don't take that into the component because at a certain age in certain physiques, you can't do anything. There's very, very little you can do about your BMI. And so it's irritating to me that is the one reference point.
I didn't even know that. I might opt for the option of turning around when they weigh me upcoming because, 2020 was, I got a little loosey goose.
Sure.
And now
I feel like there's a pun there, but yeah.
But I feel like I am coming back now, and I'm being more mindful and more conscious. And at the time it was like, I can only make so many adjustments. And so I was like, I'm fine with this adjustment that I'm passing over and I'm fine with coming back now. But but don't ask me any questions about it yet.
No, right. And please take other things into consideration. I think that's my beef.
So you were 17 in Minnesota. You finish your shift at assisted living. You go to the 7-Eleven. We're recording in New York City, and so maybe I forget 7-Elevens in the country where I'm from. 7-Elevens are dangerous. Almost like my rap the other day about fast food things. Mm-hmm. To be 17, that would scare the shit out of me. I would beg as one of your parents that you work at a grocery store, that you fold jeans. A 7-Eleven feels dangerous to me. Am I wrong?
Well, this was a pretty suburban area. I grew up in a small town.
And to be clear, this is the middle of the night.
Yeah, but I think we were rather naive because it was a suburb. And that's a really good question, Keith. I don't know what the thinking behind it was. I think you just sort of do what you do until you get held up one night on an overnight shift.
I do think that a 7-Eleven, like you said, it seems a little less dangerous because it's in the suburbs. But if you think about it, it's the only place open to rob at 2 a.m. So
Right.
I don't know
Right.
if it's more, you have more options in the city for robbing. So you might not go into the 7-Eleven.
That is a really good point.
Thank you. But I didn't have that point when I was 17 and working in whatever stupid job I was working at.
Well, exactly. And nor I, nor my parents, this stuff never occurs to you until it happens.
So what happened?
I was working an overnight shift at 7-Eleven, and this guy came in with his face covered. Can't remember what else he was wearing.
Sorry, how so? Like
a ski mask?
Like a ski mask, like a balaclava, something like that, And he had, I don't know, he had something under his sweatshirt that looked like it could have been a gun. You know how you cover up your gun. Right. It might have been his finger, who knows? And he asked me for all the money in the till.
Is that the worst part, by the way? Look at, I was robbed. And I remember even saying to the cops, 2 guys with 2 guns. And I even said to the cops after, just so they could help my fragile ego. I'm like, did I do the right thing? I didn't fight them. I didn't punch 2 guns and uppercut 2 heads. Did I do the right thing? And they're like, you did. I'm like, okay, good. But I felt like it really does take something so big away from you. Did that happen to you? And do you also think, what if I was such a bitch that it was just fingers? Did you feel that way?
It was only, I'm not sure I'm answering your question, but it was only in retrospect, maybe years later, where I started to think, I wonder if that was just his finger. And of course, you just comply because a little bit of context, my parents used to own a liquor store in Minneapolis, in the heart of Minneapolis. And my mother had been held up at gunpoint with a silencer. And
my God.
Yeah, it totally traumatized her. So you have that going on in your head too. And you're a clueless 17-year-old who's just trying to make it through her 7-Eleven shift, which I'm sure, I ate all night at the 7-Eleven. I'm not proud of it. I'm just telling it like it is. Like I just ate the donuts that got delivered and candy and listened to Jerry Rafferty song that played all that summer. So you just, you don't, I don't think I processed it. I'll speak for myself. So that was just, I began to think that maybe it was just his stupid finger under his hoodie. And then
I get that, but even if it was his finger, like, okay, Keith is 6'2" and has like some kind of, and it has been in fights before, but if I was working at a 7-Eleven, you can actually, outside of your sweatshirt, point your 2 fingers at me in the shape of a gun. It's not like I'm going to be like, stop it. I'm going to be like, how much money do you want? All of it? I'm not going to fight you and your finger. If you fight me with just your fingers, you might win. So I'm not going there.
Yeah. Excellent point. Excellent. Like, what was I going to do? You just comply. And
by the way, looking back though, don't you kind of wish you acted like you were, putting a shotgun together under your shirt? Hold on 1 second.
No, because I'm a big chicken, and also I'm a terrible faker or liar. Like if I started faking something, I would start laughing, which is not a good position to come from when you're being held up. So
I do that too. I'm not a good faker. So in order for me to not feel bad that I'm faking out a friend for the joke, right immediately after, I'll tend to go, huh?
Anyway, here's the money.
Like, how would that have fucked that guy up? Like, wait, this isn't how this is not how I planned it to go down.
And here's the lid for the big Slurpee. I know we never have lids.
Will there be anything else? Paper or plastic?
I can't give you a lottery ticket though. That's cash. That's separate.
You see his finger. You go, would you like a bag for that gun?
That's 5 cents though.
Have a good one. Yeah. Yeah. And the protocol at that time was that if that happened, which to me was always theoretical until it actually happened, was that you called the store manager, maybe she was the district manager first before you called the police.
That's weird.
So
that's
I know.
weird. And wait, not to, because I want to hear about that, but
Yeah,
like,
go.
was there anything else with the robbery? He said, give me all the money. You opened the register and he just took it and left. Did he take a bag? Was there any kind of action there?
I don't know. I wish I had written it down at the time. All I remember is giving him the money in the till and him leaving.
Okay.
And then I hewed to
Nobody
the
walked
protocol.
in. Nobody else walked in.
No,
other customers.
right. You guys, these are really good questions. I haven't thought about this. No, seriously, I haven't thought about this in such detail since it happened, you know?
Right.
And so
Mary Jo is 18 now, by the way. So that's interesting.
So I called the manager, and the thing I do remember is how irritated she was that I woke her up in the middle of the night. Like I can still hear her. Well, how much did they get? I don't know.
Oh my God.
No, yeah.
She's like, first of all, Mary Jo, do you know normal people sleep at this hour? Okay. What do you need?
That's kind of what it was like. Like, you're the man, you're on call. This is your job. So
what was your voice like? Not that, you know, you're still saying I just got robbed at gunpoint, but were you shaky? Were you nervous? Or were you just matter of fact because it hasn't settled in?
I'm quite sure I was shaky.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Do you think I can't stay here? Because when I was robbed, I was calling 911 and they're like, all right, well, where you at? I'm like, I'm walking down this street, and I'm bad at directions. So I was real proud of myself to know I'm walking this way. I'm passing this street. So based on that, you guys must have a map. That's the way I'm walking. We can meet somewhere. How are they supposed to find you if you don't stay still? I'm like, I can't stay still. So now you're in that store. You have to stay still. Is that driving you bonkers?
I'm not proud of this. I don't think it even occurred to me because I was so goal oriented. Like the goal was to call the man, like check off the to-do list. I'm sure my mind just went to that, like the checklist.
And that's why I love you working here, Mary Jo, because go straight to the checklist. You can't fuck around if you follow a checklist. Out of
panic, honestly, out of panic. Like, okay, I guess this is what you do. And she was super irritated with me. And then she gave me permission to call the police.
Oh, granted.
And I called the police and they came. She showed up. Whatever happened. Like they got a description. They asked me questions and then everyone left. Not a single word about
a follow-up.
Maybe
you should go
home.
Yeah.
But again, I'm so clueless and hewing to see a lot of how I operate is like I think I was thinking, oh, I guess this is standard protocol.
Right.
People I guess you just stay here.
Looking back, it wasn't so bad,
Other people know what they're doing more than I do. So I guess if you get robbed at your 7-Eleven, I guess you stay here. Don't make a big deal out of it. So I got home early that morning and I was still living at home and my parents were just outraged. And then I had to go to the police station and they gave me a giant 3-ring book of photos and the guy was wearing something over his face. So I had no idea. And again, I was trying to be a people pleaser. Yeah, that might be him.
No.
Yeah, no, yeah. I know. I'm so embarrassed.
No, I don't think you should be. And to be honest, I think I would have reacted similarly because I was like, nobody told me to go home. So I think I'm just supposed to keep working like an adult. Like we're just playing adult, and you just think maybe you're immature and this is affecting you so much, but really what happened to you? I wouldn't think lock the door. I wouldn't think, tell the whole place it could fucking blow up if all you care. I wouldn't think to talk to anyone like that. And when that woman was irritated with me, I would probably be like, did I do something wrong? First. Yeah. And then, because maybe that's why they hire 17-year-olds, because it's just fucking stop asking questions. Yeah. The fact that we think these are good questions is
Right.
why they get away with it.
Right. But I think you point to something else, and that is the idea of, I'm sure at that point in my life, you're operating under the principle that everything is going to go on some permanent record. Like if I leave my stupid $5 an hour 7-Eleven job, what happens when I'm 60 and I'm a comedian and somebody how fucked up we are about these systems that are in place that we have been taught to.
We're happy to be there.
Fealty to without examining them.
Yeah. I remember when I was 17, I had a job amongst adults. I was working this retail job as a cashier, which I've already had experience in since I was 14 in the West Village. So I was working as a summer job with people who were working a real job for their life. And I think people don't like that. And all the women hated me, and they were very mean to me, and actually mean. Like, I was like, aren't these people adults? I thought it was so strange that they would be like kid mean to me. So, and they would say things like, does he like you? And I'm like, what is happening? And it's because like she had a crush on him and the people in the store. And I'm like, what is this? How adults behave? Like, this is so crazy. And I just was like kind of quiet and would answer their questions. Like, I don't know. He's 40. I don't care if he likes me. So anyway,
imposing this stuff on me. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah. And you would think like an adult would look at your face and go, she's not even here. God. Like I would go out, all night, dance all night, and then be like, I guess I'm here. I would do my job right, but I don't know. These are weird. And this one time, somebody called me from the other store, a woman that I did know from my store, and she goes, "Do you know where blah 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 is?" And then she goes, before I could answer, she goes, "Can you put someone on who has a clue or something like that, or like, or is like, or smart God. Or knows something?" And I was like, okay. And I put her on hold and found someone. I just did it.
You seem smarter than me.
I was like, I guess she's asking for you. Right. I don't know. And it didn't bother me because I was like, that's what you're going to do? Like, I don't know. I'm not concerned with this right now with your little petty shit.
Right.
And it goes over my head because I'm too young to know to be petty about this yet. This is my summer job. And like you said, I'm just trying to get through this day. So if you think somebody's smarter than me about this retail business that I'm just here, trying to get people the right change, okay.
Have at it.
Yeah.
And also it's the idea of like, do you really think I am going to invest in your stupid shenanigans for, like you're saying, your summer job?
Yeah, you're old.
Here's a smart person. Fuck you.
Yeah. And I didn't even think to say fuck you. What I should have been like is like, yeah, sure, you bitch, and put her on hold forever. Like
that's what I would do now. Like I would just hang up. Like I feel like I've really come into this sort of like, right.
Yeah, hold on. I'll get you nothing. Shut the fuck up. They would sabotage me. There was some stuff at the register that if you ended up selling on their way out, you would get a commission or whatever. And I did, like, because things just sell. I'm not trying to sell people. They're like, how much is this? I'm like, I guess I sold this to you. So I go to one of the people who've been there for a long time. I was like, hey, I think I sold like 3 or 4 of these. What's the thing that I have to, nobody told me what to fill out or how to get that. And she goes, we're not doing that anymore. And I was like, I bet she fucking took my commission. I bet she did. And I bet it was like $10 or $20. This stupid bitch who has to, we're not calling women bitches anymore. Just men. But this stupid asshole who, I don't know. I'm like, I guess you have to pay rent. I got to go home. And my mom ate some food. Fuck off.
Right. Oh, flames coming out of the side of my face.
I like that you're strong enough now to just hang up the phone. We're decades old, Mary Jo. Yes, we're very proud of ourselves.
Well, it's I'm a late bloomer. I'll be honest, but you do get to a certain age and they have enough life experience where it's like you start recognizing this stuff and you start recognizing what you want to emotionally and spiritually and intellectually invest in. And I just love the concept of, you know what? Kiss my giant white ass goodbye.
In Minnesota, or did the mugs in New York? I looked at mug shots, and the criminals talked to each other, and they realized the trick. All the mug shots are full on smiles. And they know that they didn't have that smile on when they met me.
Of course.
And it really did throw me. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I'm like, no. I don't know. And when they give me, I saw mine on a computer. I wanted to say, hey, do you have a clue? And you hid one of them in this 100? Because if you're just fucking with me, I'll go home. I'll go where we can't arm wrestle over it. We'll just call it a day.
Right. What do you want from me? I have nothing to give you. Yeah.
Right. If you can't narrow it down to 20 and I work from there, then there's no point.
Right. Yeah.
There's no point. Come on. Speaking of guns, quick news update. You remember perhaps in Wisconsin a year ago in August, 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, went to did he I don't know if he transferred state lines, but he definitely transferred county lines, and he was going to a protest, Black Lives Matter protest, and he ended up killing two separate areas, to be clear, killed two people with an AR-15 style weapon. Now they're going over the case, which is, I don't get it. I don't know how backlogged court cases are, but it's a little weird to go a year later. What were you thinking? But, maybe that's the lawyer's job. Just keep pushing and pushing it until nobody knows what the fuck happened.
Right.
The judge said that lawyers may not call the two people that he killed victims. He says victim is a loaded term. You may call them rioters, looters, or arsonists.
No, I'm going to have an aneurysm. I have to go lay down. I'm serious. So you can use other loaded words.
Can I say words. Dead people? Yeah. Other loaded words. Yeah. You can call them assholes and shitbirds if you want.
Right.
But victims is leading.
You can call them guilty if you want, but victims.
Right.
Right. Rioters or looters. Like I can't. I am serious. Like my head is going to blow up. Oh my God. Good God.
So doesn't something like this, if it made the news and made it to our ears, wouldn't someone have to look at that judge and say, this sounds a little biased?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sometimes these things catch. Yeah. Who knows what catches and why, but maybe.
Yeah, right.
All right. Here's something softer. Something a little more fun.
Don't trust him. Don't trust him. Don't say things like lay it on me.
Shit.
Don't trust him. Do not give your consent until you hear the end of the sentence.
Thanks.
I think it's funny
Hang up on him.
Like you're a performer and you of course love it and you need people to come and see you. But at the same time, you don't like the attention per se. Nobody needs to really know you. Just come and see you. Enjoy it. Follow my website, but leave me out of it. That's a funny dynamic.
Keith, that is so funny the way you just said it. Leave me out of it. No, I get really abashed about what I do. I've thought about it a lot, what that paradox is, because I will tell people I'm like the performer who wants to keep a really low profile, which completely defeats the purpose. I love that I get to do what I get to do. I mean, it's pretty fucking amazing. But when I'm done, just using a show for an example, when I'm done with a show, I don't want to revisit it. And I have a hard time going to family, just for an example, family functions where people will, are you still doing the comedy thing? I don't like getting into explaining what I do. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this to a degree where it's like, now, do you memorize your skits?
Right. So your family, you would have a clue by now if you gave a fuck.
Yeah. I don't want to explain it. And I don't want to be asked, well, tell me a joke. I wish I could explain it better than that. I'm just, I need to turn it off at that point. And maybe because I am essentially shy and I grew up in this Midwestern sensibility and this Catholic sensibility where you don't draw attention to yourself. Well, I have just drawn attention to myself. So now I have to like go lay down because it's too much. Am I making any sense at all?
Yeah, of course you are. Our meet and greets torture.
Not with Mystery Science Theater fans. And I'll tell you why. When I started doing Cinematic Titanic, we were touring. It was a live show, and we would do the meet and greets afterwards. And before that, doing Mystery Science Theater was kind of an abstraction because it was just our team. We were doing it in a studio, but there wasn't any fan interaction except for letters or the internet. Like that was the ascendancy of the internet. When I started meeting the fans, it became really real. And so many people would come through these autograph lines and say things like, "You got me through a really hard time." And you just have to pay attention to that. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you want your family to say that you're their hero and savior. Otherwise, no questions.
Right.
Come on. Right. What do I do for a living? That's such basic shit. Come up with a better question.
That's the only thing I listen to. Get out of my face.
I get it. It's trivial. It's making small talk about something that is bigger than that. And it's coming from ignorance and asking questions that you don't want to know the answer to. And that's annoying. And when you meet people who listen to your work, who are a part of it, it feels like they know you so much more. And their introduction and their interaction is so much more real and feels so much more genuine that you can't help but be tired of this other stuff that means absolutely nothing, in that it wants to mean the most. You're with family. We're asking you about yourself. What's your problem? We're here. People go right to it. This is what you do for me. This is what I do for you. Thank you for being here.
Right. And it is hard to, I'm really tight with my family. I'm really close, but it is hard. What I do is hard to put succinctly or put your arms around, because I grew up in a family that was very pragmatic, and all my siblings have 9 to 5 well-defined jobs. And I started freelancing because I got fired from every single fucking job, like in my mid-20s. And I think there was a learning curve for, I'll just say, my parents, in terms of like, how does that work? So maybe I feel self-conscious justifying it. I don't know.
This is what I did with my family. Ask me what I do for a living, Mary Jo.
What do you do for a living?
Oh, how's your day?
Totally.
That's how I described steaks when I was a waiter. The cut from the back shoulder side. Oh, yeah. I'm not an idiot. I know.
Enough about me. That's too much about me. It's me all the time.
That is kind of how I am. Like, I already had my time on stage. I don't want to be the object of attention.
Did somebody ever say like, "Hey, this helped get me through my cancer"? And you're like,
yes.
We showed 1950s Velociraptor Preacher. What are you, a fucking idiot?
And their cancer treatments, their depression, their losing a loved one. Absolutely. It was tremendously eye-opening and moving.
So when a fan of Mystery Science Theater comes to your house and says, "Hey, autograph my stuff. I love you." That must be a joy. What a treat for you.
Are you setting me up, Keith? You asshole.
What happened? This happened to us before, where somebody passed Hemda and I were living together at the time. We're not together now. This person passes our kitchen window, and there's something about the way, which is normal because there's a sidewalk there, but there's something about that look I saw where I'm like, oh no. Couple steps later, and this guy's like, "Hey, I got kicked out of my house because I listened to your show. Anyway, I'm like, I can't let you in because, that's fucking weird, right?" Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I guess give me your phone number. I found out you're parking somewhere. I don't know why I want your phone number. Just give it. You took that, what am I going to do?
Shut up.
So seriously? I took his phone. Yeah. And then we didn't really teach him a lesson, because then I called him later and went, "You know what? We're going to record you, but you have to give me your ID," as if that meant anything.
No, right.
Like, it wouldn't have meant
I'm sorry, the expression on Hamda's face right
now. The studio,
priceless.
it's so funny because I knew that's what I wanted also. This was so interesting. We didn't want to tell it from just our perspective. We want this guy on mic and we want you to hear the full story, right? And I still understood that this is not normal. and we're putting ourselves in danger.
And we said we can't do it again. We said, like, I don't know if you believe us, audience, but we will have to call the police next time. But this happened, and here we are. Now this guy has to do the interview with his pants down to his knees, so he can't easily jump up and kill me. But yes, that's what we did.
Good thinking. Wow. So he wanted to stay with you. Did I understand that piece?
I don't know what he wanted. I don't think he thought it through. He just drove states and said, "Hey, I got kicked out because of you." Hi.
He drove from North Carolina all night. And then as we're talking to him, we're like, you didn't get kicked out. You had a hissy fit, took your mom's keys. And she's probably like, where the fuck is my car? So, you're an adult, barely. Like, he was an adult. So I think if he was underage, we'd be like, nah, someone else has to deal with you. But he's an adult. So 18, 19. And it's like, I don't think anyone's kicking you out of their house anymore. I think you had a fight with your family. And I don't know, it was kind of fun.
Well,
don't do it to us.
No, right. But you guys, it really speaks to, I've been thinking about the nature of,
insanity,
fandom in this day and age. Like I say, I was working in a bubble at Mystery Science Theater because I went to a studio every day. It was just our staff and the crew and my fellow writers and actors. And then you start connecting in a different way because of the ascendancy of the internet.
This is like 90s for the record, 96 or so?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, when was it? Yeah. I started there 93. So yeah, mid to late 90s. So, and now people are engaging with their supporters in a whole different way. And maybe people have lost sight of it, like what is not cool. I don't know. I'm just philosophizing.
How'd it work with you? Person knocks on your door?
Well, no, he didn't get to my door because I have a little yard with a gate, a fence around it. But the way my house is situated, I walked into so I'm recovering from an appendectomy. So I look like shit. I have for weeks.
What is an appendectomy?
They take out your appendix.
Okay.
And it's
not to minimize, but is it minor surgery or?
I went home. It's overnight. So I got sent home. It's significant, but it's not, I've been in a lot of discomfort, if you will.
Okay. Are you with your husband at the time? I read something about you two moving together, and then I wasn't sure if you're still together.
Well, we're not. He passed away.
I'm sorry to hear.
So,
he wasn't with you that day. I'm just curious about the day this guy showed up.
No, this just happened last week.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Shit. Okay.
I didn't know it's so recent. Okay.
So it's really fresh. So
wow.
The way my little house is situated, I walked into my bedroom. Oh, I really want to underscore the vanity part of this, where I look like shit. I feel like shit. I've got this shitty gray robe on. I've been shuffling around the house for 10 days. I haven't left the house for 10 days. Walk into my bedroom, and you can the path that comes from the side of my house to my gate. I see there's a guy there, and he comes to the gate and he turns around, and I can never leave well enough alone. So I go to the window and I go like a stevedore's wife. I'm like, hey, what do you want? And he turns around, and I see he's got this Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Boy.
Instead of running away after that, he's like, you're about to be so embarrassed, Mary Jo. Can I call you Mary Jo? Because look at this.
No, I know. And so it's kind of dawning on me, but as you know from the robbery story, I'm very slow-witted.
Right.
So he says something to the effect of, I just wanted to get some stuff signed. And I say, what? And he goes, it's just a few things. And I say,
things.
Like, what the fuck difference does that make? And I say, are you serious? Yeah. And I say something stupid like, now is not really a good time. And I say, how did you get my address? Which addresses are readily available on the internet. It's like, of course, you're going to find my address. I haven't been very, assiduous about monitoring that. And he goes, my friend. And I'm so enraged at this point, but I'm buying time too, so I can get my land legs. And I say, your friend who? Mike. And I say, Mike who? And I'm hollering out my window, Mike who? In California. And I say, Mike who in California? And he gives me some lame last name. And was
it nuts? Because that's a big setup.
Oh, good to know. Thanks. Where were you last week?
I know. That's the most humiliating part when they're like, nuts. And I'm like, and he runs.
That would have been awesome.
It doesn't even make sense, but it's humiliating. Yeah.
Don't make me laugh. It hurts to laugh. That would have been awesome. So I again say something to the effect, like really, heavy-handed, like, right. Now is not a good time. Good day, sir. And he leaves, and I'm so rattled that I post about it on Facebook, kind of as a sort of a bullhorn, like to tell people this is not cool, and sometimes Facebook can be cathartic. Then Bees McKeever, the prop master, posts that the same guy came to her house.
Oh no.
Yes. So we start texting. The guy had been to her house and she shut the door on him. And then he still came to my house.
Wow.
And he went to another guy's house, Patrick Bransig's house, who was a prop master too. So it was unnerving. I'm not especially fearful because in all the years of intense Mystery Science Theater fandom, this kind of thing has only happened once, like a face-to-face literal boundary crossing, right. Property crossing.
I think rom-coms have confused people, is what I think.
Do tell.
Because if you make an appointment with someone like, oh, would you like to go out? We have to figure out when and where and fucking what I got to wear and all this shit. But, and in rom-coms at the end, it's like, oh yeah, you're having your big important meeting that you've been talking about this whole movie, but I'm busting in to ask you to marry me. And we're like, swoon. And it's like, yes, you have fan meetups, you have meet and greets, you have live shows, you have virtual situations, you have opportunities for people. But I'm yawning. That's boring. I got to do it on my time. What's the big deal? You just have to sign this and now you're getting a fan. You're not happy about having fans. You're that much of a elitist. And it's just,
right.
It's like, no, not your time. On my time. Thank you.
Right. This is my term, my time, my terms. That is right. Really interesting.
And we're closer than most situations. You're out, your show's on Twitch now. That's through my Xbox. That's in my house. Yeah. You're my gaming device. We're pals.
Oh, wild, you guys. Right.
That's the most romantic way to do it, is to do it the most. If you think of like all the romance that we've been sold, the stuff that we're supposed to be swooning over the most is the most asshole behavior, the most narcissistic, the most intrusive, performative. And it's not a thing that you can keep up or should keep up. And it's just the most romantic thing. So I think that has to do with like, well, I love you. I'm just here to show you love. How could that be wrong? Why do I need an appointment to love you so fucking hard?
Or go through appropriate channels. And what you're saying is so interesting, because what you're saying, it's always really bothered me. These proposals, just for an example, these wedding proposals that are done like at Shea Stadium on the big, like putting people on the spot. Everything is so fucking performative. It also makes me think of like Love Actually, when the guy shows up at the woman's doorstep and pointing to what you're saying, Hamda, like here I am. Isn't this charming?
Yeah, it's not charming. It's not charming. And if I'm remembering that movie wrong, people are being rude to the actual partner that's in the house, right?
Yeah.
He's like, shush, don't say this. I'm going to do romantic things to you at the door of this other person that you're actually involved in.
Right. And it's making it about me and not you.
Yeah. You're obnoxious. You're an asshole.
That's my dealio. It's fascinating.
Were you, after the 7-Eleven thing years ago, were you frightened every day? And is there some lingering thing going on today from that encounter a week ago?
It's quite possible, but you give me too much credit for any depth. I'm
Okay.
sure
Okay.
I was so clueless. Like you just trudge along. And of course now I would be like, let's take a look at this. Let's be aware of any residual effects. What's going on? You know,
maybe the thing that happened last week was you took the opportunity to throw out all your thoughts at that other 7-Eleven guy.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I'm not in a blackout. I fully have all the questions. And when you don't answer them, I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
Mike fucking who?
Yeah.
Is that a gun or is it a fucking poster? Show it to me. Show it to me.
It's funny, but it's possibly quite true. Again, like age and time and all of that. Like, are you? Wow, kiss my giant white ass.
I think that's the title of a special for you somewhere. Age and time.
I thought you were
Give
going
me
to say
some age and time.
my giant white ass.
No,
Featuring Mary Jo.
The giant white asses was for like a different time. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Will you be my manager? I like the way you think.
So, I'm alluding to this Twitch show. You have a Twitch show now.
Yeah.
The Mary Jo Pehl show.
Yes.
Which again is funny, get to know me, but not too close. Anyway, it's my name.
Right. On my terms, arm's length, like I am with everybody and everything. Like, nah.
And the way I understand it, the idea started when you, because of COVID, your dad, a widow, you move in with him. You're by yourself, I assume now, right?
Yep.
And by the way, how did your mom pass away? You mind me asking?
No, not at all. She had lung cancer. This was 2014. She died.
Okay. Does your dad smoke also?
No.
Was that smoking?
No, they both smoked. Like they both quit in the mid 60s.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, sometimes cancer just happens, right?
Yeah.
It's not always caused.
Was it related? Do you know?
They don't know. I don't think we ever knew if there was a relationship there. And more people are getting lung cancer who have never smoked. So, I mean, that's a whole separate, huge topic about toxins in the air, et cetera, et cetera.
You hear that? Smoke them if you got them. Turns out, you know what?
It's everywhere.
Let me not even tell a joke about that.
Right.
Forget it. Okay.
Were you and your husband together when he passed away?
Yes. Yep.
How did he pass?
I don't.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to get into right now.
Sure. Now, when you're with your dad, you start doing Facebook Live videos, right?
Yeah.
And people are digging that.
It, yeah.
And it seems like that's what led to this Twitch show. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, I was growing up, I was steeped in variety shows like the Sonny and Cher show, the Osmond Brothers, all those summer replacement series. I love Carol Burnett show. I love those old school variety shows. So parallelly, I started doing these Facebook Live updates because my dad is so unintentionally funny. And I needed some, like all of us, we needed some outlet. If you're living in your dad's basement because he's 87 and you don't want him to be alone and you're the only, single sibling or it's the most convenient for you.
Right.
So people really got into it. I got tired of the sound of my own voice because it really feels like you're operating in a vacuum.
Yep.
And then I think how it happened is that I met Chris through being on the Mads show that he also produces. And he said he contacted
Chris Gethard. Or sorry, Chris
Gersbeck.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said something like, if you ever want to do more of that. And so he really walked me through it. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm over answering your question.
No, I'm following. No,
Okay.
That's what I asked.
So that's what kind of launched it. And he just helped me make it make sense because I can way overthink stuff. I get paralyzed.
We were talking before the show about Chris, who we've worked with as well. He's a producer, PR guy, and he works with the Mads a lot. And just shout out to Chris, one of the nicest, if not the nicest and most honest and kind person in this industry, where as Mary Jo and I are talking but beforehand, we were like, yeah, he's like actually nice. And it's like, oh yeah. That's
the great question, Kendall. What do you think's really up with that, Mary Jo?
Sleep with one eye open where Chris is concerned. That's all I'm saying. No, he's super smart and he's super breaks stuff down. He's just really fun to work with.
When I was looking up different things you've done that I might not know about, I learned that as a writer, now I don't know how often, you wrote for Catholic Digest. I remember being a kid reading Catholic Digest magazine. Is this correct?
Seriously?
Yeah.
No, I only submitted one freelance article to them because did you know that there are circus priests? Did you know there's such a thing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
What does that mean? Like clowns?
No, he's a priest who travels with the circus.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so he's like a chaplain, like a hospital chaplain, only a priest with the circus. And I was really fascinated by that. So I went to Ohio and
does he work with the public or does he work with, because I've seen
performers.
Yeah, because I've seen, you see stories about performers. They're all, there's drinking, drugs, fucking. Is that what his job is, to like make sure everybody's on the right path?
I don't know.
Okay.
Again, if I had you there as my life coach, I would have asked the really tough questions.
What the fuck do you do?
I was just so fascinated that this is your priesthood calling, and circuses are so wild to me. So I just went and interviewed him in Ohio once.
What was the biggest takeaway from that interview? Like, what do you remember the most that stuck out? Or was it just mild?
The thing that stuck out to me most was we were in the bowels of this giant arena, like where they have the kind of arena where they have hockey games, concerts. They're huge underneath, obviously. And I was walking with him and a couple passed us and he said, "Hi, Debbie. Hi, Steve," or whatever. And as we kept walking, he said, "They get shot out of a cannon together." And I was like, oh God, that's so crazy that your colleagues, just so casual, they get shot out of a cannon together. Talk about going to like a family function. What do? We get shot out of a cannon together. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You wouldn't understand.
Right. Somebody complains they get bumped in New York City. They're like, what the fuck? What's your problem? That my parents were very religious and we got the Catholic Digest. I remember I would always, just because I loved movies so much, I was curious, what movies do they allow me to see and not see?
Right.
And surprise, you can't see any of them.
Right.
None of them are good. Except for Passion of the Christ, of course. You were allowed to see that. By the way, are you Catholic?
I was raised Catholic, non-practicing.
Tell me what you think about this idea. Okay. Came to me fairly recently.
Uh-oh.
Hollywood movie. Okay, most of it's not written, but it's a Hollywood movie based on Mary, the mother of God. But Mary happens to be quite unattractive. Would that be fucking mind blowing or what? Right? Like, this is what Jesus picked. You know what I mean? I think that'd be shocking. Nobody knows how to review it because you can't really announce it.
I want a treatment on my desk by Monday morning.
Done.
Keith.
Well, done. It's going to be one big page. It says "Ugly Mary" typed on it. And what do you think?
What do you think? What do you think?
I have a question for you Catholics. Catholic Digest, how often does it come out and how much updating do you need?
I think it was weekly or monthly.
What's in it?
I don't know that it exists anymore, but I think it was monthly.
Is it like a new recipe, a new hymn,
Still be into God.
Recipe?
The songs haven't changed.
What are you getting updated on?
Movie reviews. Psycho, thumbs down. Fascinating stuff.
There's a thumbs down
Rome.
section, and it's just all the new movie releases.
It's all
Yeah,
direct.
just
Welcome to
straight
Thumbs
through,
Down.
just straight
Right.
through. Yeah.
With Frederico, you know.
The digest is like a reminder of all the things you can't do. And remember,
I'm
Right.
sure to reiterate those themes, you better believe it.
Don't have fun. Love Catholic Digest.
Yeah,
Like,
just
oh,
keep
okay.
having babies.
Right. And speaking of Passion of the Christ, the guy that played Jesus in that movie, Jim Caviezel,
Yeah.
he was the star.
What?
I just saw
What?
this. Did we see the same thing? This guy's a QAnon.
Yes. Yes.
This guy
yes,
was at a QAnon meeting
Yes.
giving the speech that Mel Gibson gave in Braveheart about how we must never give up on this country. Meanwhile, Mel Gibson was the director of the Passion of the Christ movie. That's how they fell in love and blew each other. What the fuck?
well, doesn't that make sense?
Yes, it
it- isn't-
does. But at the same time,
Yeah.
what? Like, you were a real actor. That was the movie, whether you were religious or not.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you were bad shit. I just thought you believed
No, right.
that there's three people in one person, and that person didn't have sex but made a baby. I just thought you were normal on that level.
I think it's isn't Catholicism, Judaism, all of that stuff. Isn't that big conspiracy theories? Like, no, you don't understand. She was such a
Right.
cunt that he turned her into salt. Like, no, did she have to fucking look back? He said not to. Yeah, that
Right.
totally happened. It totally fucking happened.
Right. No, it's so wild to me. And what you're saying about, I didn't know you were bad shit crazy. I am always, this is how stupid I am. Like, I'm always taken aback that actually exists. Like, when it reaches that high profile, like, oh, it is real. It is real that these people, because sometimes I have to tamp it down so I don't crawl under my bed and never come out again.
Right. Water can't sink wooden beams. You know, it all started somewhere. And whether it was Noah's Ark or 9/11, it's all related, I suppose. You know. All right. Well, here's a good time for this, if I may say. BetterHelp 2021. Mental health is finally a thing. I'm going. I'm not exaggerating. Come to uses it as well. So many people are struggling right now because we pick up a goddamn newspaper. Well, therapy helps. Okay. I can attest to that. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. Like, I can literally go, hey, I know it's not a scheduled time, but for later, just look at this QAnon video now. Thank you. That feels good to do. Much more affordable than in-person therapy. I think it would be the opposite, but it's not. And you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. See if it's for you, because you're your greatest asset. All right. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, and Keith and the Girl listeners get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/KATG. That's betterhelp.com/KATG.
And really,
All right.
see what it's like. Just see what it's like to sit there and confess, basically. Because I believe that Catholicism has a lot of really great things, just like a lot of religions. Like, the fact that you get to go into this anonymous space, supposedly, and just relieve yourself of your thoughts that you find negative. I mean, I don't like what they attach to it. Like, go ahead and masturbate all you want. But to actually, there's a reason why.
Sorry. Go ahead and masturbate all you want.
Like, my confession shouldn't be I masturbated. Go ahead and masturbate.
I see.
They have weird things that you need to confess for. But religion gets people because they listen, they give you a community, they give you relief in a lot of ways. So do it in this way. Try this way. Try BetterHelp. Try a therapist. Try someone who's more neutral, who by law can't make you feel guilty for regular shit. And just see what it feels like, and then decide if it's not for you. So betterhelp.com/KATG, so you can get the discount as well.
I mean, how with everything going on, who doesn't need a little help? The latest story now with the Alec Baldwin accidental shooting on set is that they were using that prop gun, filling it up with real bullets. On their off time, the crew was shooting at bottles and cans.
Oh, no.
They were treating it like a real gun until it was go time, supposedly.
Oh, no.
There's also the theory that somebody's trying to set up Alec Baldwin, but they do know that people are using this gun to fuck around with.
You know what? This makes sense because people walked out because of safety.
Yeah.
And if I saw people using a prop gun like it's a real gun for funsies in between shit, that might make me upset. So, yeah, that oopsies can happen pretty legit.
Yikes. Oh,
poor Alec. I always think that poor Alec, who of course, poor the victims and their families, of course. But like you know, everyone knows you didn't do it on purpose, but you still have the experience of murder now.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's so I don't even have words.
Yeah. You would think like if you would get to the point where you murder someone, it would be like for passion or something. And this is like just, oh my God, there's just no reason. It's a very weird thing that I'm saying right now. I understand.
I'm just saying if you did it deliberately, you would at least know what that feels like. I know. But this was an accident. You can't do it deliberately now because it's going to be a weird coincidence. So that magic is done. And that's probably the saddest thing. I follow him. That's sure.
Thank you.
All right, let's leave on a fun story here. Okay.
No
doom and gloom.
I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
I'm all you got. You have to. I'm the one who buys the newspaper and you don't have a choice. New York Art Collective, MSCHF, is selling 1,000 identical images of an Andy Warhol sketch. Only one is the real deal. The sketch is valued at $20,000. You buy one of these for $250. So they're making what? $250,000.
Love it.
You're only paying $250. You don't know if this is the original or not. But I bet you somebody's going to figure it the fuck out, right?
I love that this is not gambling. I love that the lotto exists as like a state and government thing. I love that we're so anti this gambling thing. But if you make it fun, if you make it a mystery,
if you package it the right way, and totally.
If you make it that art if you make it that art isn't important and it's all a silly fucking game, then sure, why not? It was a 1954 sketch, and they're having a computerized robotic arm make the other thing, so nobody can tell there's a human error. They're making
but you
a
know
robot.
what?
Fascinating.
This actually is pretty cool because even your robotic sketch is going to be worth money if you're looking at it, I think, from a financial place, because this is making the media and it's like, it still is a replica. There's like a lot to it. So
it's like when Banksy, he had artwork in a frame, sells it at auction. It's a mechanical frame, and it starts, chopping itself up.
Yes.
Well, people were upset. I'm like, no, now it's its own thing.
Right.
You got a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah. You're part of history with $250.
And the whole novelty around this idea, of course, is going to elevate the value of even the replicas, like you're saying.
Right. So
we should tell ourselves like that. Like, okay, $250. Keith or one of his lookalikes will come to your door, and it's like somebody gets your brother when we're in chat, and it's Wednesday night, so we meet and chat. KeithandTheGirl.com/chat. I am, I forget how much white guys look like each other, and it's like, holy shit, Keith's brother is here, but it's really Chris, like this dude in the chat. And
there's seven me's. One has a goatee, one's Middle Eastern, but yeah.
Yeah. There's Keith's cousin, but it's really just Rick.
That's so funny.
No, today, of course, Wednesdays are Party Time USA here in the Keith and Girl world. We do our Keith and Girl show on Wednesday, of course, as well as other days. But then we record Newsy show right after. Q&A is in your VIP package. That's where Newsy, our buddy, takes the date that we're on and then goes back throughout the years of us doing Keith and the Girl since 2005 and plays a show that occurred on that date. So, words change, but it's exciting to go back in here.
He listens to at least one of the episodes done on this date and 10 minutes of every other episode and runs across like people we used to be friends with, things we used to do, all this stuff. And it's such a walk down memory lane with a person who has been there since then. So that's interesting as well. So he knew the inside stuff, the outside stuff. It's very, very fun.
And last show we did, well, he's been talking about this website, sniffies.com. You might want to take note, Mary Jo. I don't know if you're dating or what.
Not safe for work.
You know what? Just take a look. Goodness. So I go to sniffies.com. I'm going to play a clip from the last show. I'm like, let me see what this thing is. Holy crap. I think I need a new computer. Oh my God. That's anyway, I'll play it for you, see. But that's that we record that show. That's part of Party Time USA. And then, of course, the chat room and live poker. And that's a lot of fun. So I'm excited. What are you going to eat today, Kenda, for Party Time USA?
Okay, so it's takeout day for me. I like to break up my week on a Wednesday because I don't want to wait until Friday to party. So like you said, Party Time USA. And I like to get the most value. So like that's why sometimes it's pizza because it's like that's 8 meals if you think about it, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
So
that would bum me out if I'm on my 6th meal. Yeah.
Oh, I like it because it's like the next day it's like, guess what we're having for breakfast? Party Time USA leftovers. But I also want, you can always have pizza, especially in New York. So I like to switch it up. Today, you're going to think I'm very boring, but there's a fancy supermarket here that has soup. So I might get 2 different soups.
Oh my.
And they have very fresh sushi and a little bit of sushi. And when you go to that kind of thing, you can have diversified Party Time USA. Huh?
Right. Now you're hearing
what's the fancy grocery store? What's the fancy market?
It's like a fake Whole Foods that I always forget the name of. They're set up like a Whole Foods, like a mini Whole Foods, and most of it is bullshit. It just looks so pretty that I'm attracted to it.
It's the experience.
Yeah, but their sushi is better than most of the things that I send out for. So. Because here's the problem. When you order sushi, you're ordering from a Japanese restaurant. If you order anything hot, like beef nagamaki or whatever, they put it in the same bag. It's heating up your sushi. Oh my God. Look at these problems I have in my Party Time US. What kind of sushi problems am I having?
My sushi problems.
Right.
There's your book. There's your special. My sushi problems.
But you get like 2 soups and a sushi. If you get it from the supermarket, it's $20. That's basically nothing. So you can get a Party Time USA extra if you want.
Yeah, leftovers.
And this new show, My Big Fat Middle Eastern Ass. Maybe you're listening being like, hey, we can be in any country though and be part of this chat. Why is it called Party Time USA? And you just heard the glutton kind of is. It's USA. It's USA, for God's sakes. Mary Jo, it's so nice meeting you. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
This was so much fun, you guys.
So here's what you do. You go to Twitch and you check out the Mary Jo Pehl Show. Pehl, and you say hi. It's the last Tuesday. Is it last Tuesday of every month, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Well, get ready. You have one coming up.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you, Chris. Oh, thank God for Chris.
We should call the show Shout Out to Chris.
Right.
Totally.
But yeah, be part of that. You're gonna like it. She's obviously very fun. And
have you thought of using your name a little in a pun, like Mary Jo Pehl? Peel yourself some of that Tuesday night. No, okay, no, that's fair.
And I'm still not taking it under advisement. Humda.
Right.
No, it makes me think of like what we were called. My sisters and I were called in high school. Like, hey, Mary Jo Pehl. Or like, all the stupid high school names. Sorry. No.
I brought you back.
No, and I'm sorry. That sounds really insulting, doesn't it? I'm just giving you a hard time. But.
That's fine. I love hard times. It's my love language.
And is going to check though and be like, she still never took the slogan though. Like for real, Mary Jo, thank you again. And here's Newsy.
Okay.
Now, how did you not die this week?
How did I not die this week? Basically, there's on Sniffies once again. I know, whatever.
It's insane. You tried to say it faster and faster. So earlier I was on Sniffies, and I'm doing regular things. Going faster actually makes me go slower. Okay, anyway.
Just another hunt.
every time I like introduce Snippy to somebody in my life, they're like, "What the fuck is Snippies?" And I show them, they're just like, putting up the cross sign. They're just like, "Get it away from me! This is vile." But so there's a guy who messaged me. Most of the time I like to keep them brief, down to like menu sort of items. Hey, what are you looking for? I'm looking for this, blah, blah, blah. This guy's being very conversational right off the bat, which sort of means he doesn't know the ropes. So
okay, one moment, please. Love this already and already have questions.
Sorry.
May I have...
I just want the sniffies.com again. Apparently they changed the picture.
Oh,
but I remember it being fucking all, an orgy of dudes. That's what this one is. It's, holy shit. I don't know where to fucking start. Cookie.
Are you on the map yet?
No, I'm at the main website. Sniffies for the Curious. There's one dude, spread eagle with the jock strap.
Yeah, we love a jock strap.
He's black. His hand, for what it's worth, on the white guy's head. Who's very interested to blow him. Behind him, everybody's, fit. Behind him, two guys. There's a leg up. There's a hand right by the dick on the thigh and a Budweiser can. Showing like we're really having fun. Holy shit.
So you mean they showed a Wednesday?
Yeah. And the cookie necklace, which does it say cookie? Yeah, it says cookie.
Guys,
and for me, that's funny as fuck, and I don't know why.
How could you not want to be gay when you look at these things?
They're having fun.
Pretty great, honestly. It makes it so easy. But if you were to like make an account and go through, the next thing you would see is a map, like a digital map, and then just tiny little icons everywhere. Dick here, butt here, spread butt cheeks here, a face, a diaper, fucking a toilet seat, blah blah blah. There's just shit everywhere. And the toilet seat, I already know that guy from years ago. That's Toilet for College. He like sits underneath a toilet seat and wants guys to poop on him. Like that's what that dude does.
Stop it.
And his icon is just like a little toilet seat. Yeah, he's been on the internet for years in Pittsburgh, and we all know about it. Toilet for College, but you just don't go.
It's just funny. It says, you click on it, it says load the map. I'm like, oh. It wants to know my location. No.
Yeah, because you'll find out that your landlord, the people next to you, across the street from you, everyone's on Sniffies.
Oh my God, Hemda. So just in case you described it in a way that everybody isn't getting it, holy fuck. So you see the map of where you're at. They found me. I said no, they found me. It's a circle of like but it's their profile picture, which this is a gentleman. It's just his tits down to his dick. But yes, here's big balls and dick. Here's dick going through shorts. Oh, there's a couple. Just the two dudes. Just a couple.
Nice.
Here's a guy. Oh, he had balls to put that up, but okay. Yeah. Here's on all fours. All you see is an ass, but it's like far away. You're like, I get you like it in the ass. Now I know.
Yes.
I'll click on that. Oh, here's an ass with something inside it. Well, I can't tell yet if it's a corn cob or a butt plug. We'll assume butt plug, right? Holy shit, dude!
What?
Do you know what just happened to me?
Somebody came in through your computer screen?
I'm getting blown right now. I didn't set up an account. How are they going to get me in the end? No pun. It came up like 8 fucking circles, right? So I'm going around. I'm looking. Oh, this is funny. This is funny. You were there. All of a sudden, there's 1,000 fucking videos, pictures, gas stations. What's the gas station logo mean?
Oh, so that means that's probably like a cruising spot. So either you go there and you hook up there, or you go there to like meet.
Dude,
and you hook up
it's scaring me. It keeps popping up. Okay, hold on. Okay, exit. That fucked me up more than Squid Game.
Maybe I should watch Squid Game. It's probably nothing to me. I'm like, whatever. That's like middle school shit. Who cares?
We break glass over each other's heads for fun.
Okay, so that does go with my question.
Yes.
So I remember one of my questions, and that is, what items would be on a menu that you get or that you give? Like, what menu item? Like, hi, how are you? What would you like? And what comes up?
There's not like an actual drop down or whatever, but in my profile,
no, I know. Okay, for the record, I know. But I love you for being so gentle about it.
In my profile, it has listed that like I'm like a service top, which means I'm not looking for anybody to do anything to me. I'm looking to do all of the stuff. So whenever somebody messages me, they're like, "Hey, do you want to get blown?" I'm like, "No." In conversation, shut it down. But if they're just like, "Hey, I'm versed. That looks big. I'd like to take it," then you just start your yeses and nos from there. Are you into this? Are you into kissing? No. Are you into blah blah blah? So.
KeithAndTheGirl.com.